Here are my 4 steps for managing sports injuries. Step 1, see a doctor. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Step 2, let it calm down. You don't have to stop exercising completely, but you probably want to modify your activity level, either in terms of volume, how much you're running and working out, or intensity. Take it easy. You might also want to switch up your activity. So instead of running, try something else that doesn't make the pain worse. You might also want to do some other things to help reduce inflammation, like anti-inflammatories, orthotics, maybe taping to help get a little pressure off the area. Those types of things shouldn't be considered a long-term solution though in most cases, but should instead be considered a temporary solution to help your inflammation go down. Step number 3, identify the root cause of the issue and start working to fix it. This is where strength and mobility work come into play. One thing I'm learning is that just because something hurts is not necessarily due to a lack of strength in that area. Instead, due to some other issue up the kinetic chain. Working with a physical therapist or chiropractor really helps identify these types of things. Turn it around. For example, one of the reasons my right Achilles tends to hurt is because my left hip tends to get locked up. Fourth step, which should also be pretty obvious, is that you have to ease back into it. Just slowly build back up to where you were pre-injury. If you rush back into it, you're just gonna end up injured again. Maybe the biggest misconception with injuries I'm learning is that if the internet says it's gonna take 6 weeks to heal, it's not really just 6 weeks. 6 weeks to heal, then a few more weeks as you slowly build back up. The point is, don't just circle 6, 8, 12 weeks or whatever your injury calls for on your calendar, and as that's the day that you're gonna start running again. Make sure that you factor in a few extra weeks to ease back into your usual routine. Some bonus tips. I do everything I can to promote blood flow to the area that is hurting. That can mean dry needling, scraping, laser. The more blood flow you can get to the area, the better and faster the affected area is gonna heal. That's the idea anyway. I haven't researched every article on the issue, but that seems to be the case, at least for me. Bonus tip number 2. This isn't a one and done proposition. Once you identify the root cause of what's causing you pain, more than likely that's something that you're gonna have to manage. You gotta stay on top of these things to prevent similar injuries from reoccurring in the future. Body's a little different and has different tendencies. For example, my tendency is locked up hips. Doing a few weeks of hip work one time is not going to prevent future injuries from happening. It's something I do daily, weekly, and if I feel a little injury coming on, I know, hey, maybe I haven't spent enough time on my hips. Maybe I haven't spent enough time strengthening my tibs, or I've been neglecting this mobility move. You start to get an idea for how your body functions, your tendencies. You can act proactively to reduce the instances of future injuries from occurring. To start my watch again after crossing the street. So there's a 3.5 mile run and 2.82 miles. There you go. See a doctor, let it calm down, identify and start fixing the root cause of the issue, ease back into it. Personally, what helps me in addition to that is getting blood to the area as soon as possible, and also staying on top of these things. Not a one and done proposition. It's cliche, but consistency really is the best way to deal with these things.